Hello. Hello, everybody. It's the first scary story stream of October, and I have some friends with me that I'm going to read scary stories with, and then we'll talk about them, I guess. Hi, Mario. You're just waiting in Discord. I am excited. So right now I have 3 scary stories lined up, and I'm going to be reading those. And if I think we need to, I'll pull up some more. I might have to do a little digging, but I will be pulling up more if I think we would need some more. If it's what we feel, if it's what we crave. I have my little dragon here that I'm holding like a little cat, and I'm going to undeafen on Discord, and I'm going to lower my music a little bit, but then I'm going to undeafen on Discord, and you'll hear the buddies. I am going to raise up this though, so you hear my friends more than you hear the music. Music's just background music. Music's just background music. Okay, here I go to Discord. Actually, and hello.
Hello.
Hello. Okay.
Hello.
Awesome. Okay, so
Scared yet?
are you scared yet?
I don't know. I came here to see you get scared.
Oh, you came here to get me scared? I'm reading them. I'm not gonna get scared.
Oh my god. No, no. No, you're gonna get scared.
No, I don't think I will.
You've gotten scared by literally nothing before.
I get jump scared easily. I don't get scared.
No, I've seen you get scared over jump scares that weren't jump scares.
Okay, not the longest.
Oh Jesus, Mario, your mic.
God damn it.
Okay, let's pull up. Okay, I'll let you decide which one I read first. Do you want me to read something? Okay, also these are all from the r/no sleep Reddit.
Oh my god, I can't wait to see the same variation of the clown one.
Oh no, I didn't just do the most recent one. I went to the popular ones and then I read through a few and picked the 3 I liked best. Because I wasn't gonna put things I haven't read on stream.
That's what makes it fun. No.
Okay, no, hold on. I'll read these 3, then afterwards I'll pick some that I haven't read yet. Okay, sound good? I'll read out the titles for you guys, and you can choose which ones I read next. Okay, but out of the first 3, tell me which one to read first. Something happened 63 years ago that's haunted me my entire life. I've never told anyone about it until now. The previous tenant of my new flat left a survival guide. I'm not sure I want to live here anymore. And then something walks whistling past my house every night at 3:03.
The second one, because that one sounds boring.
The previous tenant of my new flat left a survival guide.
That sounds very predictable.
Yeah.
We saw a webtoon and we're like, I could do that.
Okay. This is posted by user New to Town Jam 2 years ago. The previous tenant of my new flat left a survival guide, and I'm not sure I want to live here anymore. I moved in with my boyfriend yesterday. We've been together for 5 years now, and we're old and wise enough to settle down and finally leave our parents' houses. He just turned 24 and I'm 22. He's the love of my life. His name is Jamie, and I couldn't be happier to be living with him. When we decided to take the leap, we spent 2 months looking at flats and houses. We couldn't afford to buy yet, so renting was our only option. But the prices were astronomical. For our budget, we would have to been lucky to get a box room and a stove. Jamie works for a local shut up. Jamie works for a local 24-hour fast food restaurant, and I'm training to be a teacher. The early stages of training don't pay much, and I owe a lot in student loans, so finances are tough. We had almost given up hope until we found our flat. It was nothing special, but to us it was a palace, a spacious 2-bedroom apartment with views of a city park, a balcony, and local conveniences. It was in a tower block in a not so nice area, but neither of us have had been wealthy growing up. We weren't fussy, just grateful to be together. The advert was sweetened by the deposit-free option and open-ended tendency. The landlord was happy to sign a 5-year contract if we wanted. That sort of thing never happens in the city. We were told that along with no deposit, we would also have no inspections, but would be liable to pay for any damage when we ended the tenancy. I'd never heard of anything quite like it. We knew that for our budget and location, we weren't going to get any better. We snapped the place up so fast, not even bothering to view it. It felt like our only chance. Move-in day rolled around quickly, and yesterday we got the keys to our first home together. It was such a strange feeling. The day was chaos, getting our stuff in and up in the lift. We were flat number 42 on the 7th floor. The items we couldn't get in the lift had to be taken up all the stairs by the removal men. I think they were grateful we weren't any higher, but I still wish we had been able to give them a better tip. In the evening, we settled down on our second-hand sofa, given to us by a cousin of a friend, and watched some TV. We smoked cigarettes on the balcony, looking at the park, and fell asleep on our mattress on the floor super early because we had no energy to put the bed together yet, and Jamie had work at a hideous time of the morning. We slept soundly last night. I felt safe and happy. I don't think that feeling is coming back anytime soon, and it's all due to the note I found this morning. I found it in the kitchen, having a coffee, hours after Jamie had left for his early shift at work. I was in one of the cupboards that were fixed to the wall. It was in one of the cupboards that were fixed to the wall. There were a bunch of useful items from the previous tenant. Spare keys to the flat, a set of tiny keys that locked and unlocked the windows, necessary for those with kids this high up. Spare smoke alarm batteries, and a folded up piece of paper. The note was handwritten, with new occupier of flat 42 in beautiful cursive on the blank side. I opened it up and sat down to read. I can't really describe it to you, so I'm going to copy it out below. Dear new occupier, firstly, welcome to your new home. I lived here before you for 35 years with my husband. Unfortunately, he had an incident at home recently that I'd rather not discuss that claimed his life. My sister has now decided I can't keep up with the demands of the property and has insisted that I move in with her and her husband. I was reluctant at first, but the stairs do kill me at my age, and without Bernie, it's filled with sadness. Anyway, when you've lived somewhere for as long as I have, it feels like a person that you know. You understand its personality and what makes it tick. I thought it was probably pertinent that I impart some of that knowledge on you. It's a wonderful home. Honestly, I've lived through best and worst years and leaving it behind is very emotional. But if you are to survive and get the best out of it, then there are some steps you need to follow. 1. The landlord will never bother you. He doesn't visit, call, or communicate in any way, but make sure to pay your rent in a timely fashion always. I've only dealt with him once in 35 years, and let's just say, I never missed another rent day. Any repairs require you to speak to the agent you rented the place with. 2. Do not use the communal lift between 1:11 and 3:33 a.m. Just don't do it. This step is vital if you are to have a happy life here. It really is life or death. Don't do it. This has cost me and many others in the building greatly, and I would rather not elaborate on why you shouldn't do this. Just please don't do it. I cannot stress this enough. When you hear the strange animal noises coming from flat 48, don't question it. Mr. Prentice lives there, and he's a lovely chap. Don't be afraid to say hello to him in the corridor or on the stairs. He's old school, so he never risks the lift. But whatever you do, don't check on him when you hear the noises. You'll know when you hear them. If you ever come across a window cleaner on the balcony, ignore him. He may seem like the nicest fellow you've ever had trying to sell you something at the door, but it really is best that you don't engage. He will go away if you ignore him, but he tries pretty hard the first few times, so you'll need some resilience. Whatever you do, don't offer him anything, No money, no hot drink. Number 5. Don't leave food scraps out. Bin or refrigerate them immediately. If you have small animals, it is imperative that you watch them eat and take away any leftover food immediately after they're done. This and Rule 2 go hand in hand. The things forage all day and seem to really love animal feed. You don't want them in your flat, I promise. You can leave what you want out between 1:11 and 3:33 a.m., so you may want to feed your pets then. Number 6. Don't communicate with any neighbors who claim to come from flats 65 and 72. These flats suffered a fire in the late 80s that devastated the whole floor. All the residents died in their homes. The building was mostly council-owned at the time, and they never bothered to renovate the flats. They've been empty ever since, but every now and again someone will knock at your door claiming to live in one of those flats and ask to borrow some sugar. They'll seem entirely average, but you must shut and lock the door immediately. I installed 2 extra security bolts to avoid these fuckers. I don't like to swear at my age, but they really are fuckers. Number 7. Simple one for you here. Keep a weapon in each room. Sometimes you follow all these steps and something still slips through the net. Better to be safe than sorry. Number 8. The building has a committee that will try and get you to join. It's one of those neighbors groups about improving living conditions for all residents. It's a nice group, and the lady who runs it, Terry from flat 26, is a fantastic neighbor. By all means, get involved. But I wouldn't recommend babysitting Terry's 2 children. She'll ask you because the poor woman needs a break, but if you accept, don't say I didn't warn you. Number 9. Stray hairless cats sometimes roam in the hallway. I know they're supposedly a special, expensive breed, but they don't belong to anyone. They're mostly harmless, but don't pick them up. Not unless you see one of those neighbors that claim to live in 65 to 72. Then grab the cat and lock it inside with you. It'll burn your skin a little, but the cats are friendly and I wouldn't want to see them hurt. Number 10. There is no way to fix the damp patch on the ceiling in the bedroom. Sometimes it will turn a deep crimson and look quite concerning, but please try not to be alarmed. It doesn't drip, it doesn't get any bigger, and it's been there longer than I have. The landlord won't budge on it. According to the agents, I flagged it many times, even called the police the first night it changed color, but it was a waste of time, and it will be for you too. It's best to ignore it. Number 11. You can trust the postman. His name is Ian Flanders, and he's been the postman since before I moved in. He has his own key to the main door and delivers post to the door every morning at 8:54. I can't include everything here, or it would become a novel, but if you have any questions, Ian will help you. Finally, the first few weeks are the worst. You'll feel like you've made a mistake. I'm sure reading this, you already do. But if you can get through the first few weeks, it really is a lovely block to live in. Every property has its quirks, and this one is a little extra special, but you can be really truly happy here if you just take my advice. I wish you all the best, I really do. Yours truly, Mrs. Prudence Hemmings. I don't really know what to think after reading the note. Hopefully it was some sort of joke, but the agent had said the previous tenant was an elderly lady, and I can't see anyone named Prudence Hemmings attempting to play practical jokes on someone they'd never met. There was also parts of the note I couldn't disprove. There was indeed a large damp patch above the bed that me and Jamie had already discussed reporting. No crimson, but it definitely existed. I had also commented on a beautiful Sphinx cat roaming the halls as we were moving in. I started to get seriously freaked out. Our dream, our beautiful little home, had just become a source of fear and confusion. I checked the time. It was 9:14. Damn it. Out of time to catch the postman, Ian. When I opened the door to check, sure enough, 2 letters addressed to Mrs. Hemmings sat on the doorstep. At about 11:15, my worst fears were truly confirmed when a friendly, middle-aged looking man carrying window cleaning equipment knocked on my balcony door. I ignored him. I didn't want to take the risk until I'd spoken to Jamie and shown him the note. I texted him already to rush home. I felt bad as the man rapped his knuckles against the door for over 10 minutes, but honestly, the longer it went on, the more I was terrified. My windows were sparkling, and due to our lack of curtains, I couldn't even hide from his gaze. I felt so exposed. He stayed for a total of 30 minutes exactly, and never once did he stop looking at me or knocking. He shouted the occasional ultra-friendly line or humble request for a beverage in the heat through the door, but I did my best to avoid eye contact. When he finally left, I looked outside every window in the flat, but I couldn't see him on any of the other balconies or see any equipment suggesting he was around. He had vanished completely. Jamie still hadn't texted me back. He must have been having a rough shift. It was a Friday and they were always busy. It wasn't often that he didn't reply. He was due home in around an hour anyways. I read the note probably hundreds of times over. I tortured myself reading it for the next hour, desperately waiting for Jamie to come through the door to tell me it was all crazy and I should relax. I hoped for that so much, but Jamie never came. His shift should have finished around midday, but by 2 p.m. he still wasn't home. I panicked, I cried, I left over 100 voice messages on his phone, but got nowhere. I finally decided it had been long enough that calling his work wouldn't embarrass him, and his boss told me that he had never turned up for his shift. I thought about it. What could have happened? And then it hit me. Jamie's shift started at 4 a.m. today. He would have left the flat at 3:15 and taken the lift down the stairs. I don't know what to do. I've tried to convince myself it was all just a big joke. Maybe Jamie wrote the note and got his boss in on it. A voice in my head kept telling me that he couldn't write like that if he tried, but I had to attempt to fool myself. It's getting late and he still isn't home. What if it's all true? I think we made a big mistake. And that's the end of that one.
Very.
Not the
It's giving me my first scary story. You know.
Actually, that one was pretty popular. Oh my god,
Seems it
who
would
the
be.
fuck did that?
What did I do?
Someone did a creeper noise. Oh, it's Jose.
Oh, who else?
Jose. Also, sorry I wasn't replying to chat. I was reading. Poor Snow has me muted. Yes. Oh, hi, Lulu. I have one thing to say about that one. Like,
Yeah.
that was too good to be like. It wasn't a good story, but like the situation, it was too good. Like if I got to an apartment that was like dirt cheap, no deposit, everything was great, and it's just like, yes, everything's
red
perfect
flags
here.
are everywhere,
Yeah, I'm
sweetie.
like, okay,
Yeah,
that's
but if
nice.
you're
I'm out.
broke, would you rather be a homeless?
If you're
or,
broke,
like-
move.
You know, that's a fair point.
But the thing is,
You can't-
they weren't
No,
homeless.
it
They
doesn't
lived
matter.
they
If
lived
you're
with their
in that
parents.
desperate of a situation, if you're in a desperate situation, you're willing to take that risk.
But they lived with their parents. This bitch was my age. They lived with their parents. They had a safe bet. They had time to look and save up more money. But instead, they jumped right into this perfect. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
You want to get into a
Like,
relationship?
no, Mario. But like, if they're like super eager to have you living there, then something's up. You know? Okay,
Maybe the realtor was just that nice.
Yeah. You see, these stories aren't putting enough detail into these aspects. If they were, then maybe we would know. But that's not
More
what
world building.
the world building on r/no sleep sucks ass.
Yeah.
You heard
Yeah.
it here first.
Let's go.
Actually, the big story I'm saving for Halloween, the world building is amazing in that one. Like,
Okay,
it's
there.
that
So this is
one-
more-
No, that
I'm
one's
giving it 1 out of 5 boblins right now.
1 out of 5 goblins. What about, let's have a different rating system. 1 out of
No.
5 spooks.
No problems with clay.
Okay,
Boblin,
fuck.
yeah.
Okay, 1 out of 5 boblins.
What do you guys think in the
No,
chat?
stop.
What would you
stop,
rate it? How
Stop.
many boblins?
I hate you.
Let's say the general consensus is, Bob, what would yours be?
Oh, let me put a prediction.
Oh shit! No, no. It's not a prediction. It's a poll, I guess. Prediction is to predict something.
Yeah, I predict Mario's gonna give
Okay, I'm
us
sorry. I just want to be
Mario,
do it, Mario.
hold
Do it.
your
Why
hold your
not?
cord in so you're less staticky.
Huh?
It's fine. Honestly, I'd give it like probably like a 2 out of 3. It was a weird ending. I mean, technically it's
2
a
out of 3?
series. Oh, 2 out of 3. 2 out of 5. It's a weird ending, and technically it's a series, so it goes on like to further it. But I read the second part, and I'm just like, nah. This kind of ruins the whole like. The second part and the building up on this kind of ruined the whole like rate the story.
Well, that's literally what the story was, honestly.
Yeah.
I give it 3.
I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Tumblr Halloween post challenge wise.
Yeah, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
it continued on because I think the main character tries to like get her boyfriend back and tries to figure it out and like tries to fight it. Spooky apartment.
Less is better.
Okay,
Less is
Yeah.
better.
so is it something dark sequel?
Less is better. Okay. Next story.
Nice pull, Mario. Good pull, good pull.
Huh?
Spooky apartment.
Oh.
Bro, I would live there. Actually, I would live there. Those are pretty easy rules to follow. I would just take the stairs all the time.
You're like, what? You know what? Yeah, come in.
No. Listen, I avoid answering the door if I don't know who's there. So, like,
Me?
the only hard part was I would always be petting those cats. And, like,
Oh, you're
my
dead.
hands
You're
would...
dead.
No, the thing
How-
is, the cats are harmless. They'll just kind of burn your hands a bit.
That's not harmless.
Yeah, but they're
It's
not...
fine. You won't get burned. Your hands will just get on fire.
Yeah. See, what's the consensus at?
You're harmless. They just hurt you.
This is very spread out opinions. Okay, next one. So, do we want to do something happened 63 years ago that's haunted me my entire life, and I've never told anyone about it until now, or something walks whistling past my house every night at 3:03? You'd be
The
fit.
first
as
one.
fuck
I
if
think
you
the first
took
one might also be a bit.
The 1st
I'm
one.
going in the order I think is.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah.
Actually, that was the most recent one I read. Actually, okay. The cats are hairless, so at least it won't smell of burning hair if you pet them. Worth right, and those are the only cats I'm not allergic to. So, free pet. How do I end the poll? Because the poll is still up.
Okay,
You don't-
we got 1 out of 5 goblins.
Okay, actually, 1 out of 5 is the most pop. So it's like, imagining that smell is awful. Yeah, imagining that smell is awful. Okay, are we ready for the next story?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the poll.
I don't know how to end the poll. I don't know.
Wait. I'm not in mod view. Hold on. How do we do that?
I don't know if you're on your Moonbun Bound account. I don't think you have mod as Moonbun Bound.
Oh, I'm
Moonbound
dumb.
Bun.
Hold on. Wait, let me get off that. Let me get off that.
Yeah, I don't know how. Oh, it ends by itself. It's gonna
Yeah,
end
it's
in like
just
a couple minutes.
all the mods vote in it. Who's gonna end it? Yeah, all the mods are voting. Oh my god, could be like the sort of burn that you get from certain plants. Yeah, maybe not like a physical like fire burn, but more.
Want to spray
Ah!
cranberry?
Oh, an allergic reaction.
Yeah, fuck off. Someone did this. Was it Jose? Yeah, Jose played Sprite Cranberry.
Yeah.
Fuck, that scared me. Okay. It's a 5-minute poll.
Why do we give fire in it?
Mario, why did you do this? Where it's actually a bunch of little hairs stuck into you and you can't see them, you can feel them when you accidentally brush it the other way. Maybe, yeah. The whole thing, I think the whole thing was like its skin just burns you or something, like demon cats, but they're nice. They're nice. You know?
You.
I would just like to set the record straight. I did not do this poll because I'm not sorry for that.
That's fine, that's fine.
We're good. Okay. Are we ready?
If I'm mod view, never mind, I win.
I found mod. It's a 5-minute poll, so it should be fine. Okay. Next story.
I'll do some more.
Something happened.
report
You don't report the poll. Okay, something happened 63 years. You know what? I'm gonna drink some water first.
Take a sip.
I have to
Free sip
lubricate
there.
my throat. That's basically what allergic reaction is, right? No, allergic reaction, at least mine, is that we're allergic to their saliva. So, like, their saliva kind of causes an allergic reaction, and so it gets on their fur and messes with us because the fur gets everywhere. Anyway, something happened 63 years ago that's haunted me my entire life. I have never told anyone about it until now. It's official. I'm an old man. For the last couple years, I've comforted myself by saying I'm in my early 70s, but math is simple and unforgiving. Today is my 75th birthday, and God, the years do fly. I'm not here for your well wishes. This is hardly a milestone I'm excited about. I'm glad to still be here, of course, but I find I have less and less to live for with every passing year. My bones ache, my kids live far away, and the other side of my bed has been empty for just over 8 months now. In fact, once I cast my vote against that goddamn Trump this November, I may have nothing to live for at all. So spare me your happy birthdays and your congratulations, if you please. I'm here because I have a story for you, and it's one I've never told before. I used to think I kept it inside because it was silly, or maybe because nobody would believe it. I've found, though, that the older you grow, the more exhausting it becomes to lie to yourself. If I'm being perfectly honest, I've never told anybody this story because it scares me, almost to death. But death seems friendlier than it used to, so listen close. The year was 1950. The setting, a small town in Maine. I was a boy of 9, rather small for my age, with only one friend in the world to speak of, and his family, seemingly on a whim, decided to move 2,000 miles away. It was shaping up to be the worst summer of my life. My pop wasn't around, and my mom was a chore whore. Boy, was I proud of myself when I came up with that one. So I wasn't apt to hang around the house. With some hesitation, I decided the public library was the place to be that summer. The library's collection of books, particularly children's books, was meager, to say the least, but within the walls of that miserly structure, I would find no undone chores, no nagging mother, God rest her soul, and perhaps, most importantly, no other children with whom I would be expected to associate. I was the only kid with a low enough social status to spend his precious days of freedom sulking amid the bookshelves, and that was just fine with me. The first half of my summer was even more dreadful than I had imagined it would be. I would sleep in until 10, do my chores, and then ride my bike to the library. And by bike, I mean rusty log of shit attached to a pair of wheels. Once there, I would split my time between unintentionally annoying the elderly patrons and deliberately doing so. One pleasant lady actually interrupted my incessant tongue clicking to hiss, shut the fuck up at me. The first time I ever heard a grown-up use the F word. Big fucking deal, I know, but in those days, it was unheard of. The dreary days turned to woeful weeks. I had actually begun praying for school to start again, until I discovered the basement. I could have sworn I'd roamed every inch of that library, but one day, in the far corner behind the foreign language collection, I stumbled across a small wooden door I had never seen before. That was where it all began. The door was windowless and made from oak that looked far older than the wall in which it rested. It had a knob of black metal that quite literally looked ancient. I wouldn't have been surprised to learn it was crafted in the 17th century. Engraved on the knob was what appeared to be a single footprint. I had the sense that whatever lay behind this door was forbidden to me, and therefore probably the most interesting thing I would ever encounter all summer. I quickly glanced around to make sure nobody was watching me, then turned the heavy knob, slipped behind the door, and shut it. There was nothing, only darkness. I took a couple of steps and then stopped, unnerved by the totality of the shadow which surrounded me. I waved my hands in front of me in an attempt to find a wall or a shelf or anything to hold on to. What I actually found was far more subtle. A small string dangling from above, but far more useful. I grabbed it firmly and pulled it down. Back in the day, lots of light bulbs were operated with strings, and this was one of them. My surroundings were instantly illuminated. I was standing on a small, dusty platform that looked as though it hadn't seen life in quite some time. To my left was a crickety-ass spiral staircase made of wood and appearing ready to collapse at any second. The bulb was the only source of light in the room, and it was feeble. So when I peered over the railing to see what lay below, the bottom of the staircase dissolved into the darkness. I was beginning to feel scared. This place, wherever it was, seemed to have no business in a town library. It was as though I were in a completely different building. No 9-year-old likes to let a mystery go unsolved, though. So, looking back, I wish I could tell my prepubescent self to turn around, go back, do anything else besides descending that staircase. You'll be spared a lot of sleepless night, I'd say, but of course, I didn't know that then, and I may not have listened even if I had. So instead of turning back, I took a deep breath, gripped the railing, and glared resolutely forward as I began my descent. The wood on the railing was dry and covered with splinters. I immediately let go, holding my hands out for balance as I carefully traversed the staircase. It was, or at least seemed, very long, and with only the dim glow from the string bulb far above me. My heart pounded mercilessly in the darkness. Even kids can sense when something isn't right. I think they just don't always give a shit. By the time my feet reached the cement floor at the bottom, the light from the bulb above was very nearly a memory. But there was a new light source, and God, I'll never forget it. Directly in front of me was a door, massive and a deep shade of red. The light was coming from behind the door, and it shone out in thin lines from all four sides. A sinister, dimly glowing rectangle. For the second time, I took a deep breath and went through a door I shouldn't have. In contrast to the dank room I entered from, the room behind the door was blinding. When my eyes adjusted, what I saw nearly took my breath away. It was a library, the most perfect library imaginable. I gaped in wonder as I stepped, almost reverently, further into the room. It was beautiful. It was smaller than the library above, much smaller, but it seemed to be almost tailor-made for me. The shelves were packed with brightly colored titles. Both armchairs in the middle of the room were exquisitely comfortable, and the smell, my God, the smell was simply unbelievable. Sort of a mixture of citrus and pine. I simply can't do it justice with words, so I'll suffice to say that I've never smelled anything better, not in my 75 years. What was this room? Why had I never heard of it before? Why was nobody else here? Those were the questions I should have been asking, but I was intoxicated. As I gazed around at the books and basked in the smell of paradise, I could only form one thought. I will never be bored again. In truth, boredom only hid from me for 3 years. It was on my 12th birthday, 63 years ago, to this day, that everything changed. Before that day, I visited my basement sanctuary as often as I could, usually several times a week. I never saw another soul down there, yet strangely remained free of suspicion. I never removed a book from that room, but instead would pick up a particular volume wherever I had stopped reading during my previous visit. I sat, always in the same deep purple armchair, and always leaving its twin barren, and directly across from myself. That armchair was mine. The other was, well, I suppose I couldn't have articulated it much better than I can now, but it wasn't mine, that's for damn sure. On my 12th birthday, I arrived later than usual. My mom had invited a couple of classmates and some cousins over to our house to celebrate, a gesture which I found more tedious than touching. Really, I just wanted to spend my birthday sitting and reading and smelling paradise. Eventually, our guests went home, and I made it to the library about 15 minutes before closing time. That didn't matter. The workers never checked down there before they locked up. I was free to stay as late as I wished. This particular night, I was devouring the final chapters of an epic adventure. Knights, swords, dragons, and the like. I didn't smell it until I read the final words and closed the books. The once exquisite aroma of that room had turned sour. I sat for a moment, unsettled. Objectively, I could recognize that the smell was actually the same as it had been before. The mixture of citrus and pine, I just perceived it differently, and I didn't like it anymore. It was the nasal version of an optical illusion. You know, the one that looks like a young woman glancing backwards, but all of a sudden you see that it's really an old woman facing towards you. You can't unsee that, and I couldn't unsmell this. The spell was broken. The odor also seemed, for the first time, to be coming from somewhere specific. With a fair amount of trepidation, I stalked around the room, sniffing the air like a crazed canine. I came to a shelf near the back. The shelf was perfectly normal, with the exception of one title. A large, leather-bound cover of solid faded maroon, with one striking black footprint at the top of the spine. This was the source of the smell. I opened the front cover and saw one sentence scrawled neatly in blood-red ink atop the first page. "Rest your sorrows down, friend, and leave them where they lie." I stared at this sentence, mesmerized, as I began to retreat to my chair. I turned a page, blank. The smell became stronger. Another page, blank, and the smell grew stronger still. I stopped for a moment, suppressed a gag, and continued walking. Then, as I neared the armchairs, I turned one final page. And there, in the same sinister print, was the last thing I expected to see. My own name. I dropped the book and I began to sprint towards the door, but as I shifted my gaze forward, my heart leapt to my throat and I stopped in my tracks. The empty chair wasn't empty anymore. An aged man in a suit sat before me, one leg crossed over the other, contemplating me with a piercing gray eyes and a light smirk. This was all too much. I fell to my knees and expelled the contents of my stomach onto the carpet. I wiped my mouth, staring at my vomit, when I heard the man let out a chuckle. I stared at him disbelievingly. "Who are you?" I asked, panic in my voice. The man leapt to his feet, grabbed me gently by the shoulders, and helped me to my chair. He sat once again in his own. "I fear we got off to a bad start," he said, glancing at the pile of sick on the carpet. "The smell, it does take some getting used to." "Who are you?" I repeated. "Tonight you will know hardships like you've never known before," he said. "I come as a friend, offering you refuge from it, and from all other storms which lie ahead." I wanted nothing more than to leave at that moment, but I remained seated. I asked him what he was talking about. "Your mother is dead, my boy, by her own hand, in her kitchen. The scene is gruesome, I must admit," he said in sorrowful tones, but there was a playful glint in his eye. "Surely you wish to avoid this path. I can show you a safer one." My blood ran cold at the horrors this man spoke of, but I did not believe him. "What do you want with me?" I demanded, trying to sound braver than I felt. He laughed, an old, raspy yelp that seemed to shake him to his bones. "Nothing but your friendship, my dear boy," he said. Then, sensing I found his answer inadequate, he expounded. "I want you to come on a journey with me. My work is noble, and you will make a fine apprentice. And maybe when I'm done," he sighed tiredly, running his bony fingers through his thin white hair, "maybe then my work can be yours." I stood up, shuffling towards the door but never breaking his gaze. "You're crazy," I told him. "My mom isn't dead. She's not." "See for yourself if you must," he said, gesturing towards the door. I threw him a contemptuous glare and bolted for the exit. As my hand closed around the knob, he said my name softly. In spite of myself, I turned around. "Your road won't be easy, friend. If it ever becomes too much for you, and I mean ever," he said, pausing to sweep his hand over the room, "you know where to find me." I slammed the door behind me and took the decrepit stairs 2 at a time. I exited the library, clambered onto my bike, and hightailed it home. The front door was wide open. I dismounted, leaving my bike in a heap on the ground, and approached the house cautiously. The old man was lying. He must have been. Still, tears began to sting my eyes. Heart pounding, I stepped inside and called for my mother. I heard no answer, so I turned into the kitchen. To this day, I don't know why she did it. I've lived in that small town in Maine my entire life, although I've mostly kept clear of the public library. Once in my late 20s, I summoned the courage to step inside. Life was good at the time, and my fear had begun to morph into idle curiosity. Where the door to my basement sanctuary once stood was only a blank wall. I asked the librarian what had become of the basement, though in my heart I knew the answer. There was no basement, she said. There had never been a basement. In fact, if she had her facts correctly, city zoning ordinances prohibited a basement in the area. I've been haunted by that sickly sweet smell, that poisonous blend of citrus and pine ever since that long ago birthday. When I saw my mother in the kitchen that day, collapse in a pool of her own blood, I smelt it. When a man claiming to be my father knocked on my college apartment door, begged me for money, and beat me to within an inch of my life when I refused, I smelled it. When my wife miscarried our second child, I smelt it. And again when she miscarried our fourth. When our oldest son got behind the wheel of the family Buick completely shit-faced and got his girlfriend killed, I smelt it. I began to smell it. Fuck off. I began to smell it periodically as my wife became sick. She died late last year, and now I'm alone for the first time in more than half a century. Now I smell it every day, and it feels like an invitation. A few months ago I went back to the library, and the small oak door with the ancient handle was there, right where it used to be. My evening walk has brought me past that library every day since, but I haven't gone inside. Maybe tonight I will. I'm frightened to die, yes, but lately I've been even more frightened to keep living. The old man was right. My road hasn't been easy, and I doubt it will get any easier. Rest your sorrows down, friend, and leave them where they lie. He promised relief, a refuge. He said... A refuge, he said. Was he right about that too? There's only one way to find out. After all, I still know where to find him. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's the end.
I couldn't stand this little girl.
What?
It was a little spooky, but it was better than the last one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Bruh, I'm
I
mad.
couldn't stand when
Fucking
she was like,
Snow and Cat scared me right near the end. Have they tried not living in Maine?
it was when she was like, my mom invited people to my party. It was a little more bothersome than anything else. I prefer
One,
to
it was
read.
an old man. And he just wanted to read. I have a point. You do have a point, Abyss. Rate this story. I'll give that one...
I'll give it 2 boblins.
2 boblins?
Yeah.
A critic. I give that one a 4, just because I kind of want to know what would
I'll give it a
happen.
3. It was better than the other.
I give it a
I'm just
4.
going violent today, you know.
You just chose violence today. He did sound kind of like a dick. Well, yeah. He was a grumpy old man. Dang, outvoted 2 out of 5 so far.
Okay, so who was in there? Oh, it was an old man from the beginning, right?
Yeah, it was the old man from the beginning talking about his childhood. And
Okay, so when he was in there for the child, Okay, yeah, I didn't like when he was like, he sounds like like those not like other girls memes.
Not like other. He probably was.
Like,
He didn't have any friends. He
go
didn't
to
like to
parties.
socialize with people. He
I like
liked
to
to read. Yeah.
Smoke
Smoke weed.
and
Well,
vibe.
he also liked to bother old people as a child, which is funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
Jose says
Tell
they
it to
didn't
Rabbit
put
Watching
their
Snap
whole,
for their strict opinion. I agree with that.
they didn't put their whole fantasy into the writing. Amazing.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, like they could have done more. You know, I felt like they could have just done a little more.
I like that one a lot. That
I
one's
liked
probably
it a lot more than the first one.
that one's probably my
Yeah.
favorite of the three that I have picked so far. The next one I had, like, it has a lot of potential, but it let me down. So I'll let you decide for that one. But I have a question to not sound like a real person. I have a question. If you guys were in that situation where you were like had this like perfect little sanctuary, it was like perfectly tailored to you, and then some creepy ass old dude said, "Your life will be horrible. Do you want to chill here with me?" Would you have said yes?
No, like no,
No.
I don't want to die.
He
I
said
don't know you like
he
that
didn't even say
person.
you would die. He just said like you'll be my apprentice and you won't have to see everyone you love die.
You just said it's too good to be true for living in
True.
an apartment. We're okay with living in a pocket.
No, I
money,
didn't say
a-
I would. I didn't say I. Oh yeah, Jose has a point. You won't have to pay taxes.
Okay, that's true.
But it's like,
You
what's
think-
in there? All he did was like read in there, right? And it was just nice. It just smelled nice. Just got like an air
Yeah.
freshener, right?
Yeah, and well, the thing is, it smelled nice, and then it smelled horrible. Like it switched. And I
Well,
think if
that
it
sounds like
started
it's
smelling
all down
horrible to
to.
me, I would have like left. As soon as it started smelling bad, I'm like, I did something. I'm leaving.
But like that's it, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
that was just that's all you get in return.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't know
Like,
exactly
shine
what he
your soul
gets. We don't know exactly what it means to stay there because the story doesn't like tell us what it is. It just says that like it's better than what your life is gonna be. Like that's what he implies. But we don't know if that's true or we don't know like what else we have to do to stay there.
Running away from it won't make your life better. It's better to just face it
Yeah.
head on. You know?
What do you
And that's all
think?
this old man was offering.
What do you think that room was? Like, what do you think his job was? Like,
Like the old man, the other dude.
yeah,
The
like
monster
why?
guy?
Yeah, why did he have a whole room perfectly tailored to, this dude, and then
Yeah, he's probably gonna like eat their soul or something. Like we're gonna find out all the books are like an individual soul or whatever.
yeah.
Honestly. Someone write this down. Give it to Sci-Fi.
Oh, my Spotify's
So there's
frozen.
already there's this book.
Not my
That's
Spotify,
weird.
my Streamlabs. This is Foot Collector Soul. Oh yeah, what would the soul mean? Like the footprint was important too. It's like it was on the door and it was on the big book. Sell your feet pics forever. I hate that. Oh my god. Okay. Any other
I'm feeling good about
thoughts?
this last one. I'm feeling good.
Okay, this one was probably my second favorite out of the three. So something walks whistling past my house every night at 3:03. This was posted. I don't know how long it is. It's pretty long. It's decently long. This was posted 2 years ago by Grand Theft Motto, and it was voted the scariest story of 2019.
Nice.
I
The
honestly,
story was good.
I didn't find this that scary, but okay. I need to lubricate my throat.
Jail.
Is it wrong?
Yeah.
Fuck you. Okay. I just realized I never introduced you guys, but I think half the people watching know who you guys are, so it's fine. Anyway, okay. Something walks whistling past my house every night at 3:03. Every night, no matter the weather, something walks down our street whistling softly. You can only hear it if you're in the living room or the kitchen when they walk by, and it always starts at exactly 3:03. The sound starts faint, somewhere near the beginning of the lane near the Carson place, where we're towards the middle of the street, so the whistling moves past us before fading away in the direction of the cul-de-sac. When I was younger, my sister and I would sneak into the kitchen some nights to listen. Mom and Dad didn't like that, and we'd catch hell if they found us out there, but they were never too hard on us, since we always stuck to the one big rule: don't try to look at whatever was whistling. My neighborhood is a funny place. I've lived here since I was 6, and I love it. The houses are small but well kept, good-sized yards, plenty of places to roam. There are a lot of other kids here my age. I turned 13 back in October. We grew up together and would always play foursquare in the cul-de-sac or roam around from back porch to back porch in the summer. This was a good place to grow up. I'm old enough to see it, and there's only the two strange things here: the night whistling and the good luck. The whistling never bothered me much. Like I said, I couldn't even hear it from my bedroom, but Mom and Dad don't like talking about it, so I've stopped asking questions. My dad is a strong guy, tall and calm. He has an accent since he moved to the U.S. as a kid. His family, my grandparents, they're from the islands. That's what they call it. My dad, the only time he isn't so calm is if the whistler comes up. He talks a little quicker then, eyes move faster, and he tells us not to think about it so much and to always remember the one rule, the big rule. Don't try to look outside when the whistler goes past. Not that we could look even if we wanted. See, there are shutters on the inside of every window, thick pieces of heavy canvas that pull down from the top and latch to the bottom of the window frame. Each latch even has a small lock about the size of what you'd find on a diary. My dad locks those shutters every night before we all go to bed, and keeps the key in his room. My mom, I don't know what she thinks about the whistling. I've seen her out in the living room before at 3:03 when the sound starts. I could see her if I cracked my door open just an inch to peek. She's not out there often. At least I haven't caught her much. But once or twice a month, I think she sits out there on her big red couch just listening. The whistler has the same tune every night. It's cheerful. Da 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 dum, da 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 dum. Remember how I said there are two odd things about where I live? Well, besides our night whistler, everyone in my neighborhood is really lucky. It's hard to explain, and Dad doesn't like us talking about this part much either, but good things just seem to happen to people around here a lot. Usually it's small things, winning a radio contest or getting an unexpected promotion at work, or finding some arrowheads buried in the yard. You know, the authentic kind. The weather is pretty good and there's no crime, and everybody's gardens bloom extra bright in the fall. A million little blessings, I've heard my mom say about living here. But the main reason we stay here, why we moved here in the first place, is my sister Nola. She was born very sick, something with her lungs. We couldn't even bring her home when she was born, only visit her in the hospital. She was so small. I remember small even compared to the other babies. A machine had to breathe for her. We moved into our house here to be closer to the hospital. As soon as we moved here, Nola started getting better. The doctors couldn't figure it out. They chalked it up to whatever they were doing, but we all could tell they were confused. But my parents knew. Even I knew. Nola getting better was just another of the million little blessings we got for living in our neighborhood. So that's why we stayed, even after we found out that for every small miracle that happens every day, now and then some bad things happen. But they only happen if you look for the whistler. See, our neighborhood has a welcoming committee. They show up with macaroni casserole and a gift basket and a manila folder whenever someone new moves in. They're very friendly. 4 people showed up when we moved in 7 years ago. The committee made small talk, gave me a Snickers bar, and took turns holding Nola. It was her first week out of the hospital, so they were extra careful. Then the committee asked to speak to my parents in private. So I was sent to my room, where I still managed to hear nearly every word. The welcoming committee told my parents about how nice the neighborhood was. Really exceptionally hard to explain kind of nice. And then they told my parents about the even harder to explain whistling that happened every morning at 3:03 and ended at the tick of 3:05. The group, our new neighbors, warned my parents that the whistling was quiet, would never harm or hurt us as long as we didn't look for what was making the sound. This part they stressed, and I pushed my ear into the door, straining to hear them. People who went looking for the whistler had their luck change, sometimes tragically. A black cloud would hang over anyone that looked. Anything that could go wrong would. The manila envelope the committee brought over contained newspaper clippings, stories about car crashes and ruined lives, public deaths and freak accidents. Not everyone dies, I heard the head of the committee tell my dad. But the life goes out of them. Even if they live, there's no light in them ever again, no presence. My mom, I could tell, she wasn't taking it seriously. She kept asking if this was some prank they played on new neighbors. At one point, my mom got angry, accused the committee of trying to scare us out of our new home, asked them if they were racist on account of my dad being from the islands. My dad calmed her down, told her he could tell our new neighbors were sincere and they were just trying to help us. He explained that he grew up hearing these kinds of stories from his mom and that he knew there were strange things that walked among us. Shut up. Some of those strange things were good and some were bad, but most were just different. After the committee left, Dad went out to the hardware store, bought the canvas blinds, the latches, and the locks, and installed them on every window in the house after dinner. The first night in our new house, I crept out of my room at 3 a.m., only to find my dad awake sitting on the living room couch, holding my baby sister. My dad held up his finger in a shh motion, but patted the couch next to him. I sat, and we waited. At exactly 3:03, we heard the whistling. Da-da-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-da-dum, da-dum. It came and it went, just like our neighbors said. The whistling returns each night, and we never look, and we enjoy our million little blessings every day. Nola breathes on her own, and she's grown into a strong, clever girl. My dad even joined the welcoming committee. We don't get new neighbors often. Why would anyone want to leave? But when a new family moves in, my dad and the committee bring them macaroni casserole, a gift basket, and the manila folder. I can always tell by the look on my dad's face when he comes back if the family took the committee seriously, or if we'd be getting new neighbors again very soon. Not long ago, a family moved in directly next to us. The previous owner, Miss Maddie, passed away at age 105. She lived a good, long life. Our new neighbors seemed like they'd fit in just fine. They believed the welcoming committee, took my dad's advice about the locking shutters since they had a young child of their own. Whatever newspaper clippings were in the manila envelope, whatever evidence my dad never let us see, but I imagine it must have been awfully convincing since our neighbors got along with no issues for the first month. One night, when our new neighbors had to leave town, they sent their son, Holden, to stay with us. He was 12, a year under me in school. I didn't know him well before that night, but as soon as his parents dropped him off after dinner, I could tell it was going to be a bad time. "Do you know who's always out there whistling every night?" Holden asked the moment the adults left the room. The three of us were sitting in the den, some Disney movie playing idly on the television. My sister and I exchanged a glance. "We don't talk about that," I said. "I think it's that weirdo that lives in the big yellow house on the corner," Holden said. "Mr. Tolles?" my sister asked. "No way, he's really nice." Holden shrugged. "Must be a psycho killer then." Nola tensed. "We don't talk about it," I repeated. "Let's go in my room and play Nintendo." We spent the next few hours playing games, eating popcorn, and then watching movies. A typical sleepover, but I can see Holden was getting antsy. After my parents had wished us a good night, locked the blinds, and gone to bed, Holden stood up from his beanbag and walked over to where Nola and I were sitting on my bed. "Have you ever tried looking?" he asked. "It's nearly time." Like most sleepovers, we'd conveniently ignored any suggestion of a bedtime. I was shocked to see he was right. It was almost 3 a.m. I sighed. "We don't... See, I can't even try to look because my dad locks the blinds every night and hides the key," he continued, ignoring me. "So does our dad," said Nola. "No," replied Holden. "No, he doesn't." "You saw him do it," I said, a little sharper than I meant to sound. Holden grinned. "Your dad locks the blinds, yeah, but he doesn't hide the key. He keeps it right on his normal keychain." "So?" I asked, worried I already knew what he would say next, because I had noticed that my dad didn't bother hiding the key anymore after all of these years, because he knew we took it seriously. "So after your dad locked up, but before your parents went to bed, I went to the bathroom, and on my way I may have peeked into their room, and I may have seen your dad's keychain on his nightstand, and I maybe went and borrowed the key to the blinds." Noel and I stared, and his grin only grew wider. "You're lying," I said. Holden shrugged. "You can check if you want. Just open your parents' door and look. You'll see his keychain right there on the nightstand." "Stay here," I told them both. "Don't move a muscle." I hurried over to my parents' room, but I hesitated at the door. If Holden wasn't lying, my dad would be angry, beyond angry. I was scared thinking about it, but more scared of an open window with the whistler right outside. I opened the door, barely an inch, and looked in, but it was too dark to see. Taking a deep breath, I walked into the room. 2 steps into the dark, I froze. The whistling started, and I could hear it clearly from my parents' room. I never realized, but they must have heard that sound every night since we moved into the house. They never told us. I don't think I could have slept through it. I stood there, listening to the whistling come closer, unsure whether I should turn on a light or call out for my dad. A soft sound from the living room brought me back to reality. "Nola!" I yelled, running out of my parents' room. Holden and Nola were standing near the front door next to the window. Holden wasn't lying. I could see him fumbling with the lock on one of the blinds. I heard a click. He did have the key. Holden let out a quick laugh. Nola stood next to him, hunched up, afraid but maybe curious. The whistling was right outside our house now. I think I made a sound, called out. I can't remember. Time felt frozen, clock hands nailed to the face, but I found myself moving. I'm not fast. I've never been athletic. Somehow, though, I covered the space between myself and Nola in a moment. My eyes were locked on her, but I heard Holden pull the blinds all the way down so it could release. I heard the snap of it start to raise, and I heard the whistling just on the other side of the window. I had my arms around Nola, and I turned her so she was facing away from the window. At the same time, I jammed my eyes shut. The blind whipped open. The whistling stopped. I felt Nola shaking in my arms. "Don't look, okay?" I told her. "Don't turn around." We were positioned so that she was facing back towards the hallway and I was facing the window. My eyes were still closed. I felt her nod into my shoulder. I reached out with my arm, not holding Nola, and tried to touch Holden. My hand brushed against his arm. He was shaking worse than Nola. "Holden?" I asked. I reached past him and gingerly felt for the window, eyes still sealed shut. The glass was cold against my fingertips, colder than it should have been for the time of year. I ran my hands up the window, searching for the string to the blinds. The glass began to get warmer the further I reached, and there was a gentle hum feeding back into my fingertips. I tried not to think about what might be on the other side of the window. Finally, I touched the string and yanked the blinds shut. I opened my eyes in the dim light leaking out from the kitchen. I could make out Holden, pale and small, staring at the now closed window. "Holden?" I asked again. He turned towards me and he screamed. Everything became a flurry of motion. Lights sparked to life in the hall, then the living room. My parents' footsteps thudded across the hardwood floor. I didn't turn to look back at them. My eyes were glued to Holden. He was pale, had bit his lip so hard there was a thin red line of blood running down his chin, and he'd wet himself. "What happened?" my dad asked from behind me. I managed to swivel away from Holden and look back. He looked. I'd never seen my dad scared before, but I saw it that night. In that moment, an old, ugly terror stitched on his face. A parent's fear. "Just Holden?" he mouthed to me. I nodded yes. My dad let out a breath. He looked so relieved I nearly expected him to cheer, but then he turned to Holden and my dad's face changed. I wonder if he felt bad or for feeling good that Holden was the only one that looked. There was a knock at the door. We all froze. Holden whimpered. "Don't answer it," my mom said. She stood at the threshold of the hall. I'd always thought she was a skeptic and just humored my dad about the windows and the whistler, but that night we were all believers. I noticed that both of my parents held baseball bats. They must have taken from their bedroom. The knock came again, a little louder this time. "Please don't open the door," Holden whispered. My dad walked over to him, hugged him close. "We won't," my dad promised, still holding his bat. "Nothing is coming in here tonight." This time the knocking was loud enough to rattle the door. Holden screamed again and Nola clutched her arms around my neck. My mom came over and knelt down next to us, wrapping my sister and me close. "Call the police," my mom whispered to my dad. The knocking instantly stopped. My dad looked over his shoulder at us. "Do you think—" He was cut off by frantic knocking that trailed off to a polite "Police," something said from the other side of the door. The voice was outside, sounded exactly like my mom, like a parrot repeating the words back to her. "Police, call the police. Police." My mom pulled us closer. "Police, police, police, police. Please stop," I heard her whisper. "I don't think calling them will help," my dad said. "How will we know when they're the ones at the door?" The knocking came back harder than before. The door shook, then it stopped. After a long moment, I heard the knocking again, but it was coming from the back door. We all turned together towards the back door, but the knocking immediately returned to the front door. Front to back, back to front, loud, then quiet, then loud again. Suddenly, the sound was coming from both doors at once. Big, heavy blows like a sledgehammer. Then something started rapping against all of the windows in the house, then the walls. It was like we were living inside a drum with a dozen people trying to play it at once. Or we were a turtle and something was attempting to claw us out of our shell. "Stop!" Holden yelled. The knocking died. "I won't tell," Holden said, staring at the door. "I promise I won't tell anyone what I saw. Just please go away." We waited for nearly a minute. Then we heard it. A soft coming from the window Holden had looked through earlier. Holden started to cry, sobbing like a prisoner watching a gallows being built outside their cell. My dad held him, brushed his hair, but never lied to him, never told him things would be okay. The tapping at the window went on for the rest of the night. We huddled together in the living room for I don't know how long. Eventually my mom tried to take us kids into my room while my dad stayed to watch the door, but the second we moved into my bedroom, the knocking came back so loud it was impossible to ignore. I was afraid the door couldn't take it. We went back to the living room and the knocking stopped. Only the tap, tap, tap of the window remained. None of us slept that night. The tapping stopped around 7 a.m. That's about the time the sun comes up here. We waited another 2 hours before my dad opened the blinds from the window. He made us all go back to my parents' bedroom first. I heard him open the door, then come back in. "Okay," he told us. "It's done." Holden's parents came back around lunchtime. My mom and dad walked Holden over to his house. They all went inside for quite a while. Nola and I watched from the window. She stuck to me the whole day, right at my side, sometimes holding my hand. When my parents came back, they looked grim but wouldn't tell us what they said to Holden's family. It was a Sunday, so we all spent the day together, ordered pizza and watched movies. The night, everyone slept in my room. Nola and my mom in the bed with me, and my dad in a chair he'd pulled over. There was no knocking that night or any night since. We didn't see much of Holden or his parents for the rest of that week, but by Thursday there was a moving truck in their driveway. Noel and I watched them packing up the whole afternoon after school. What sticks with me the most is how tired Holden and his parents looked. All three of them had the same pallid, grim mouths and lightless eyes. Even from across the street, I could tell something was very wrong. Holden and his family were gone before sunset. I remember what the original welcoming committee said to my parents when we moved in. Not everyone who looks at the Whistler dies, but even those that live have the light go out of them, and the rest of their lives are full of misfortune. A million little tragedies. I think Holden's parents must have looked, either to comfort him if they didn't believe or share the burden if they did. I watched Nola some days, happy and young and alive, and I wonder if I had been slower, if she'd looked out the window that night. Would I have looked too, to comfort her, to share that burden? I'm glad I don't have to find out. We still live in that house, in that neighborhood. We still hear our Whistler walking past every night. The blessings, the luck, the good things here are too good to leave, but we're careful. We don't have friends over to spend the night anymore, and my dad hides the key to the blinds very, very well. Not that I've gone looking. Some things you just don't need to look for. Ba-da-bing. Ta-da!
Is that it?
That's the end of that one. What am I looking at the chat? That one was good. That chat. I wasn't looking at the chat for that one. That one was fun. That one was fun. We stand. Okay.
Start the poll.
Start the poll.
What do you give it? How many boblins?
Me? I'd probably give it 4 again. I like that.
Start the thing. I don't know how to do it.
How you did it before, didn't you?
No.
I didn't do it either. I don't know how.
Wait, the voting?
Yeah.
The poll. I think you can do it.
No, it must have been Snow that did it. Okay. I don't know how to. I don't know how to do it.
It's in your creator dashboard.
Hold on, I got it. Okay.
How many boblins do you give Mario?
Honestly, 4.
Me too. Me
Damn.
If they're mine.
Too. Yeah.
Our minds, they're in sync.
This one was actually good. Well, like better than the other ones already.
Okay. Poll started. Okay. Yeah, I gave it 4. Can I vote if I did it? Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. 4 out of 5. That one was good. What are your thoughts on it? The world building and all that.
That was actually good. It gave me insight as to why he felt the way he did, the dad.
I'm curious. Oh, continue. Sorry.
It was fleshed out. It was really good.
Right?
More fleshed out. Even when it didn't have anything to say, like it didn't want to say more, it still gave a reason. Like it didn't go into detail for being like why a dad was like, "Ooh, I'm from the islands. I know the tale." You know, like in phrases.
Yeah. I'm just.
What?
Oh, what?
But
Shoot.
he had enough reason not to.
Yeah. I want to know like more about this world building. Like I want to know more. Like I know, like we say, less is better for some of these stories, but that whole like the whole, like there are different things in this world. Some are good, some are bad, some are just different. And like the islands, what's up with the islands? Like, was it a specific island?
Yeah, it's like a literal, like real place in the world.
The islands is a real place?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what they call. I forgot where it is specifically, but it's just what they call the region.
Really? Because the story made it sound like it was a weird place that it's just like, that's just what they call it. Because it said he's from the islands. That's just what they call it.
Yeah, the island is a place in the world. I just forgot the
Yeah.
region.
Bro,
I think
what?
It's like the Caribbean.
I'm so confused.
You've never heard anyone say that?
No, I know like there
I'm
are
from the
islands
island?
out there. There's like the Caribbean islands. Then there's like the islands from Hawaii. There's
Maybe the Bahamas.
the Ring of Fire Islands, Jersey
It's just when
Islands.
people say they're from the islands, it usually means that.
I know
it's
there's the
not
Channel
big,
Islands.
Well, yeah, it's because like for the Bahamas, there's multiple countries in those islands.
Yeah.
So they just say they're from the islands.
They're from the Caribbean islands?
I had to see, but
Just the islands. It's just the islands. What I liked about this one, it was very much show don't tell kind of, and it was like the whole thing, like, because he had the eyes closed for that, like, the suspenseful moment, he was feeling his way up the window. Like, that part, I was like, what is there? What is there? Show
it's one of
me.
those things where they can't show you.
Exactly. And then they do the thing where it's all like, I won't tell anyone what I saw. I'm like, fuck off, Holden. I want to know what you saw. Damn, this one is solid. We haven't found the 5 out of 5 story yet. Trust me.
No, that's fine. 4 out of 4 may as well be what we think is a 5 out of 5.
Listen,
Because 5 out of 5 will mean it has to be absolutely perfect in every way.
honestly,
And
the story
that's
that I'm
established.
the story series that I'm saving for Halloween is probably a 5 out of 5 for me. I've gone back and read it multiple times. I love it so much. It's terrified me in the past, and it just fascinates me now. So I'm excited for Halloween. Do we want to find another story?
We can
Or
do one more.
one more? Our last one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go to the top lists. Gosh, that one was probably like a very long. That was a decently long one. Oh shoot. Okay, let me see. So
Read a horror webtoon.
what?
Read a horror webtoon.
A horror webtoons? No, because I can't show that.
Yeah, you can.
No, I'm just gonna find one. I like No
Some of
Sleep.
them are like lightly animated.
Okay. The first one that popped up on r/no sleep is My Job is Feeding Grandma from 15 hours ago.
Me.
Hold on, let's look. I'm gonna go to the top of all time. And we're gonna go looking in there. Hold on, let's do compact. That
What was
is,
that one horror game that everyone played on YouTube? Like Granny's Home or whatever? Escape from Granny?
Mad Father?
No. it was
planning
like
on
a
playing
bad
Mad Father.
horror game.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, is
Matt
it the
Connor
lunch
was
lady?
So good.
Lunch lady?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway, I am planning on playing Mad Father during October. I have the game in my queue. I don't know if I bought it yet,
That
but
was a classic.
yeah, I'm gonna play it. I've never
Yeah,
played it or
it's so
seen it.
good.
I think it makes me sad.
Don't tell me.
I don't
I
want
haven't.
to
I haven't played it yet.
I'm
Hold
not
on.
gonna tell you, but it's frustrating.
It's so good though. It's so good. You'll enjoy it, I think.
Hi.
Okay.
I'm saying hi for Bob.
Oh, I think my Streamlabs
Hello.
froze again, so I can't see my chat. Hello,
Even
Lulu.
after Streamlabs is like, hey, can you see this like every 5 minutes?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like every 10 minutes. It's supposed to check when I if my chat's still running, but during a stream like this, I can't really reply mid-story. So, let me see. I met someone who claimed to be the devil, and I think I believe them. I read that one last night. It's okay. I wouldn't. It's less scary and more existential. Don't Let Them In. That's the only one this is titled. It's called Don't Let Them In.
Let's Not Meet. It's on Reddit.
Let's Not Meet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called. That's the one where people talk about like scary experiences they had.
Oh no, but the thing about No Sleep, it's like they're fictional, right? I want to say
Yeah.
fictional. I don't know if Let's Not Meet is a thing where they.
Why? Those wouldn't be like spooky.
Nah,
Those
I'll have to pre-approve. Okay, so Don't Let Them
The
In.
ones that Wayne and Jazz read.
Okay, Don't Let Them In. I don't know what this one's about, but it's called Don't Let Them In. If you can see this, it's very important that you keep reading.
No, I don't trust that. I'm
Okay.
scared.
Well, yeah, the point is to be scared. Emergency alert.
Me?
Oh, that one.
Emergency
Yeah.
alert?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a series, though. It's okay. We'll just read the first one, and then we can decide if we want to keep reading.
Yes,
Okay, so,
my liege.
Wait, which one are we reading?
emergency
The
alerts.
emergence.
Okay.
Okay, my Streamlabs is back up. What happened to the whistling guy? Probably killed the kid. Who knows?
I don't know why I think happened is I think the parents died.
I think okay, here's my hold on, before we continue, before we read the last story of the night, what would you do in that situation? It's one of those kind of things where it's too good to be true. Like there's a catch. It's a better catch.
That
like
is
it's
the cat.
the catch is the
If
it's
you look,
too
you die. Like your life gets ruined. That is
yeah
the biggest
yeah that's
catch there
the
is.
I mean, but it's an easier to avoid. What situation? Sorry,
it still
Lulu.
happens.
Yeah. So the whole thing is that the Whistler walks by every morning, 3:03 to 3:05, and as long as you don't look at it, your life will be great. But if you do look at it, you either die or your life is forever shitty. And the story. So, would you live
That
there?
could just be it. If it's a demon doing it, that's sometimes all they want.
What?
Like I do that all the time. I'll hear noises outside. I'm like, anyway.
You hear noises outside it anyway. You see, I wouldn't live there even if it's like the best thing, because I'm constantly looking outside my window. not even to like look.
Honestly,
Not
yeah.
even. The thing is, I won't look outside my back window. I don't look outside my back window, my backyard window, because it creeps me out. Because it's just pitch black out there. I'm like, I don't want to know. But my front window, in my bedroom, my front window faces my street, and it's always lit up because I have a really good view of the moon and the street lights. And I'm just like, I'll just be staring out there. And sometimes I'll hear cats get into a fight, and I'll look, and I'm like, is there an injured cat outside? I'm like, that's gonna get me killed. That's
Well, no, it's specifically for like an hour time frame.
It's not even an hour. It's literally 2 minutes.
Then you could do that.
I
You
could
don't
probably
know.
do that.
If I look outside, everything I feel in my life will die. Like if I look at that whistling, that's all you need to remember.
What would happen?
And
What do you
you
think would
get
happen if you
that
whistled
feeling.
back?
You probably die, or you probably it just says don't look. So
Yeah.
you probably could.
What if it just chilled out there whistling with you?
Because the kids were talking
Yeah,
about
I get
looking at it
more
like as it happened.
Yeah.
Well,
They
I guess they don't
kiss
care.
you. If you whistle back, they kiss you. You have to close your eyes though.
I think it's easy enough.
No
I think
peeking.
it's easy enough.
No peeking. You can kiss but not tell. Okay, last story. Emergency alert. Emergency alert. This is not a test. Immediate threat for residents of withheld counties. Be wary of severe winds, lightning, severe rain, flash floods. Residents are advised to stay indoors. Please lock or bar all entryways into your house. Restrain from using any devices that emit light or loud noises. Please enter a room with no windows. Effective indefinitely. Issued by the National Weather Service. This was the message I was greeted by in the middle of an episode of Big Bang Theory in my living room. Frozen. Shut the fuck up. Frozen. Frozen halfway through a forkful of Kraft mac and cheese. I sat bolt upright and turned around to look out the window. The sky, as I thought, was crystal clear. A few clouds, but nothing crazy. No rain, no thunder, nothing. Confused, I turned off the TV, erasing the alert from my screen. My 2 dogs came walking over to me and I patted them on their heads. One of my dogs, the other's brother, was shaking profusely from the buzzing noise that always shows up with Amber Alerts and the like. I left them in the living room and walked through my kitchen and onto my front porch. My neighbors, too, were standing outside their houses, all looking at the sky in amusement. Okay, an immediate threat? It didn't seem like it. I thought as my phone started buzzing with the same tone, one by one, everyone else's phone started ringing. I should explain, I guess, that I have never experienced a severe weather warning for real. Not once in my life. I suppose it should come as no surprise, seeing as I live in Oregon of all places. I suppose maybe it was just a mistake, but just as the thought floated across my mind, I heard the siren. The siren of the squad car coming down the street. An officer talked through the speaker. This is not a drill. Please enter your homes immediately. Do not go outside under any circumstances. Never the kind of guy to ignore higher authorities, I entered my house nervously, turned off all the lights on the above ground floors, and took my dogs into my basement with a sleeping bag. Some food, my phone, a charger, some spare batteries, flashlight, and other essentials. I called my brother who lives a couple of blocks away and asked him if he had gotten the message. He had. I considered saying we should stay together to wait out the storm, but then I figured we'd probably get in trouble for that, so I hung up. Got comfortable on my sleeping bag and started browsing Reddit. Eventually, I fell asleep, seeing as I was under stress and had woken up pretty early. When I woke up, I realized that I still didn't hear any rain. Seriously, nothing at all. More confused than ever, I decided to see if the alert had been called off. I turned on my phone and called my brother again. It went straight to voicemail, though, so I gave up. I decided to risk it and go upstairs. I had to squeeze between the door and the wall to keep my dogs from following me upstairs, but I won and they stayed in the basement. I walked through my kitchen to the front door and looked out the window, part of it, as I squinted to see outside in the dark. Strange, seeing as it was only 2 p.m. judging by my clock. The TV flickered briefly. I looked around at it and it flickered again. But this time every device on the ground floor flickered. Thinking little of it, I turned around and looked through the door again. Every house on the block had its lights turned off. Nobody was outside. Except for one teenage girl. A thin, short-haired girl wearing what looked like a pillowcase walked unsteadily down the street. Very slowly, looking as though she was having some difficulty. I turned around, now extremely confused and worried, and got the dogs food bowls, which I had forgotten earlier. When I looked up, one of the houses, the one diagonally across from mine, right next to the house across the street and to the left, had its lights on and one of its windows broken. I shuddered and rushed back into the basement as the lights flickered intensely. I locked the door to the basement and sat on the old, tattered couch that I had brought down there. The basement is where I put everything I didn't have room for, so yeah, it's packed. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something that may be worth noting. I live in a small town, a very small town, probably with a population of under 500 or less. As a matter of fact, it isn't even on most maps. We never make any news, we never have any scandals or anything. This is the first interesting thing that's happened, I think, since Mrs. Withheld lost her dentures to a raccoon. So it's possible this whole thing seems way worse than it is. Call me crazy, but until a few minutes ago, I was thoroughly enjoying myself. I love these scenarios, and my basement is totally secure, so I'm having the time of my life. While I decided to turn on my radio. What harm could it do, as long as I didn't turn the volume up to high? I was surprised to find that our local radio station was still up and running. They were talking about the weather, so I listened hard for any news that I hadn't heard. There wasn't any. They were just as confused as us. Not wanting to listen to crappy pop music indefinitely, I turned into another station. This was one I hadn't heard before. Could you give me the status of the Withheld County? Over. No new developments. Over. Okay, any fatalities? Over. What part of no new developments do you not understand, McClellan? A squad car will be passing through soon to scan the area for the target. Over. Any ETA on that? Over. No, not yet. Over. And any word from HQ, Jones? Over. No, McClellan, not yet. Not since 013 first got out. Over. Well, let me know if and when they contact you. Over. At that point, I lost the signal. Well, not really, but the connection got so weak that I could barely make out anything they were saying. I figured I must have found a police communication channel, and I had been left with no answers whatsoever. That was about 45 minutes ago. As of me writing this now, guys, I don't know what's going on. Do any of you live near me? You'll know if you've received the warning. I'd say what county I live in and which ones were affected, but I don't know to for privacy reasons. Anyway, I'll keep you guys... Oh, this is the ending of it. Oh, shoot. Where's... It is the ending. It's a very short one. It's a series. But I don't have... They didn't post the next part.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it newish?
No, this is from 5 years ago.
Oh, that's it.
And they never posted it. Hold on, let me see if I'll go to their profile. The Crystal Gem from 5. Oh, yep, emergency update 2.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see, is this it? Also, my chat is still moving. Okay. Part 2.
Lulu, what do you rate this?
It's
How many bombs out of 5?
You
So
want me to
far.
keep reading? Okay, so far, Lulu.
Yeah. How many bobbins out of 5?
Oh my gosh.
I'm thinking it's around a 3 or
2.5.
3.
2.5? Yeah, I'm
pretty
not
good.
liking this one so far, actually.
Yes. Lulu site.
Lulu. Lulu.
Lulu walked.
Lulu.
Lulu Opt. It's giving it a 4 for potential. Personally, I'm
Yeah.
not liking it so far because I don't know. It's weird. Like, okay. Should we try to predict it? Should we try to predict what's going on right now?
I think it's gonna be like an SCP type thing.
I think it's government testing on a small town that's not gonna get noticed. What?
Those are kind of like one and the same ones.
No, I don't relate to this being in weird lockdowns. We've all been there. We've all been there. Anyway, I think it's gonna be like government testing on the town. You think that there's like an anomaly there that's being weird?
Yeah, like this McLean before he got shut down said that something escaped or whatever.
Ooh, think something got out. Okay, let's see what part 2's up about. They let him out and they're trying to contain somebody. They're trying to contain the little girl in the bed pillow thing. The girl in the street. Okay.
It's Lucy.
Lucy. Okay. Here we go. So he goes, "Hello everybody and sorry for the wait. I know a lot of you have been wanting to hear more about my current situation. I have, however, been reading and responding." Okay, let's skip that. "I still have access to the police radio channel, but I haven't had a good signal from it since my first attempt. And I haven't tried looking at it very much. About an hour ago, however, I did get into it, and I wrote down everything as I heard it. Officer Jones, you there? Over. I am. Who is this? Over. Officer Sloan, sir. Do you have any intel from HQ? Over. Afraid not. I just got done talking to McClellan and that son of a bitch Kowalski. Any word of over on your end? Over. Not since the last broadcast about 45 minutes ago. Last thing I heard was about the footage of the wreck. Over. Yes, suspected as much. How are you holding up, Sloan? Over. All right, all things considering. And you, Jones? Over. Well enough. I'll tell you though, if 013 doesn't turn up fast, I might just end up like poor old Officer Brown with my brain scattered on the ceiling. Over. Rest his soul. Over. At this point, Jones and Sloan went silent for a good 10 seconds at least. Well, I guess I'd better get in touch with Kowalski. I put him in charge of examining the wreck footage. Wish me luck. Over. Yes, sir. Over. Sloan disconnects and Jones waits a minute to call Kowalski. Kowalski, this is Jones. Over. Jones, hey, I'm just starting on that wreck footage. I haven't noticed anything out of the ordinary yet, but time will tell. Over. Right, look, Kowalski, I need you to focus. This is one of the weirdest parts of the whole ordeal. Think about it. A cop crashed into a telephone pole in a deserted road in broad daylight? Over. With all due respect, it might have been an honest mistake. I mean, come on, it's pretty dark out. What with the disturbances we were trying to prevent 013 from releasing? Over. Look, we all know 013 is an anomaly. That's nothing new, but I'm telling you, either he found her and she got the upper hand, or let's just say I'm not ruling out suicide. Over. Whatever. Hey, let me get back to the signal cut out. Also worth noting, the emergency broadcast I received has now been updated to say that emergency services have been suspended indefinitely, and leaving one's house is punishable by law. Also, I took a look of the format of the broadcast and the interface of it. It isn't one I've recognized before, but in my confused state, I had been unable to tell. Weird, but what hasn't been lately? I've been doing alright as of late, but I'm still paranoid at every sound I hear. As I started writing this, the wind picked up and I can hear rain hitting the roof, getting harder by the minute. Looks like that weather warning wasn't entirely bullshit, huh? So I took my dogs up to the shower to do their business. As one of you suggested, I'll edit this after publishing it with her username. I haven't gone upstairs yet, but I have nothing else to report and I don't want to give you a half-assed update. So I'm going to take a gander out the window and document what I see as I see it. I just went upstairs. I think I'll take the box of Samoas down with me when I go back down. Hell, I'll take the Samoas and the Thin Mints. Desperate times call for desperate measures. As you maybe can tell, humor is how I deal with stress. Unhealthy, I know, but whatever, it is what it is. I just went to the window. I don't see anything, but the neighbor's window is still very broken. The street is very dark, and all the lights are very off. Now it's raining, though. The streets are overflowing with water, almost, and the first flash of lightning, thunder came immediately. The storm's right over us, right over our little town. The girl doesn't seem to be outside anymore, but I'll be keeping my eyes open. Weird. After that first lightning strike, the sky's lighting up every few seconds. Like I said, nobody around here, including me, is very informed on severe weather, seeing as it never comes our way. But I'm pretty sure that isn't common. Okay, what the fuck? Okay, the neighbor's door just opened. The one with the broken window. Nobody's there, though. Must have been the wind. I hope he noticed. Come to think of it, maybe I should give him a call and see how he's doing. We used to talk sometimes, after all. It would be nice to hear from someone going through the same shit. Wait, I can see him. He's lying on the floor. Oh shit, the girl just came through the door. I ducked. I changed it, but autocorrect said fuck. Under the window. I don't think she saw me. I'm going to peek out the window just to check. No, okay, she's walking down the street now. She just passed my house. I don't know why she'd willingly go outside in weather like this, in a scenario like this, but whatever. I'm going back into the basement. I called my brother earlier. He hasn't gone upstairs in a while. Good thing, too. He said he heard a crash from one of the neighbors' houses a little while earlier, but nothing too loud. Nothing loud enough to cause serious concern. Weird. As I'm writing, my dogs looked worried. Without them, I'd have lost my mind by now. Without you guys, too. It's nice having people to talk to in a time like this. Huh. Maybe they have to go do their business again. It's risky, though, seeing as my bathroom is upstairs. I'm going to take them upstairs, but I'll take my phone with me. We just entered the bathroom. Nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, they're done. We're going back downstairs. I'm going to duck past the window, though. Come to think of it, I should really invest in some blinds for that window. Fuck. I just went into the basement, but as I passed the window, I saw her pass it too on the other side. I don't think she saw me, but holy fuck, why is she out there wandering like this? By now, it's crossed my mind multiple times that she is 013, and from this close, that pillowcase looks a bit more hospital gown-esque. Shit, guys, I'd phone the cops, but I don't even know their number. I need to go. I'll update you guys soon. Until then, assume I'm alive. Okay. Okay, guys, so by now I figured out that 911 takes you to the police, but I also remembered that bit about emergency services being suspended, so there's that. Okay, that was the end of part 2. Thoughts so far? Hello?
It was okay.
So,
It was definitely different.
yeah, so this is definitely, like, looking to be like an SCP type of thing.
Oh, it has to be.
Yeah, this one, they called it 013, and they called it an anomaly. Those are two SCP, like, right off the bat. That very much looks like SCP type of thing. Yeah, it's so that's part. Do we want to keep reading?
How many more sections are there?
Let me see. I see 4 total. Is there a part? I think. Let me see. I'm not gonna read it. Okay, yeah. There's 4 parts total, and so we're halfway through.
No.
No.
I mean, we're halfway through.
Lorenzo.
Start a poll.
What?
Huh?
Start a poll.
Start a poll.
Oh.
I don't think a lot of people are in chat right now, but okay.
We'll see
Okay.
what they say.
Okay.
Yes or no.
Give me a sec. Mm-hmm. Okay, start poll. I'm not gonna vote on this one, and I'm gonna look something up real quick. Interesting. I just looked up SCP-013 to see if it was like just a straight ripoff or like an SCP fanfiction. It's not. It's
Well, there's no official SCPs given.
No, some of them, yeah. Like some of them have their names like for sure already pinged. And 013 is one of the ones that's already like known. It's Blue Lady Cigarettes. Mind affecting SCP. So it's not a direct SCP ripoff.
I remember there was an SCP one, like, it was like, if you keep reading this, because it's forbidden knowledge, if you keep reading it, you will die because there's a program they can use to kill us. I actually stopped reading it because even though I knew it was fake, young me was scared. I'm like, I don't want to risk it.
No, that's fair. That's fair. That's very valid.
Text messages back in like the early 2000s.
Oh, the chain messages that you're like, send this to 10 people or you're dying.
Yeah.
I hated those. I hated those. Those sucked. I probably slayed them because they get me all paranoid. Like, I know, logically, I know. Like, nothing will happen. But, like, no.
You guys remember the movie Chainmail? It was a horror movie.
No.
That's the premise. It's just like a chainmail, and if you didn't do it, you were killed by a slasher villain.
How would the slasher villain know? Isn't that essentially? Isn't that
it was
follows?
Like a curse. If you didn't do it, the monster would get summoned.
Oh,
and kill you.
the same monster. Slasher villains are completely different than monsters.
No, they're not. Slasher villains can be monsters.
Yeah, but they're usually not. They're just usually murder villains.
No, slasher villains just means someone who goes in and kills people.
I mean, yes, true, but also, like my little dragon. The poll is almost done. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna keep reading though, because it's 2-1 right now.
You're 2-1. I
am not the one story from the dog's POV. What? There's a story from the dog's POV?
Yes, Quinn, we have to read that.
Yeah,
maybe not tonight, but let's see. Keep going on.
I love those.
Like a break-in?
I don't know what one Jose is talking about, but I've seen one where they write it from the dog's point of view.
He just hides or something? Damn, not a guard. Is it like a little chihuahua? Okay.
No, it's just like the owner gets killed as the owner breaks in or whatever, and the dog doesn't know what to do, so it hides. But he thinks it's like a monster or something.
Oh.
But we don't know that we're a dog until the end, like when that police officer comes.
Oh my gosh. Anyway. Emergency alert, part 3. Hello everybody. Welcome back to my special hell. It's been raining a lot lately. Rain and thunder, and the wind is really howling something terrible. But as of yet, I'm alright. I haven't heard anything from the cops, who, according to some users who told me cops no longer use radio channels to communicate, maybe something else, like an independent organization, like storm chasers or something, but chasing escaped mental patients instead of storms? Anyways, me and the dogs are doing fine at this point. Nothing has really transpired since my last update. I know, I really should stop going upstairs, but today I have to. I'll be real sneaky, okay, but I need to. I only have enough food for today. I guess I could stretch it to tomorrow if I really rationed it, but honestly, I'd prefer to just get it over with now. Oh, the lights just flickered. I mean, sure, they've been doing that a lot lately, but that time it lasted a while. Anyways, I checked the alert on my phone again, but nothing about it was different. I recently ran upstairs to get some towels and plastic bags to deal with the dog's defecation, but I didn't see the girl, whom I'm assuming is 013, and whom I'm just going to refer to as 013 for now. My neighbor's door was closed again, but that's the only thing that's changed. As I'm writing, I can hear a siren. Not one I've heard before, closer to a police siren than anything else, but still a bit different. I considered going up to check it out, but you guys would kill me, right? Really, I really hope this all ends soon. I only have like bread, ramen, that I have no way of cooking safely, potato chips, saltines, water, and fucking salad dressing out the ass. So if this goes on for more than 2 or 3 days, I'll have to eat Pete or Mabel. I'm kidding. I'd sooner eat my own cat. But, by the way, I did Google my area. There was nothing in the news about it whatsoever, which was weird. Seeing as our town wasn't entirely off the map, I called a few of my neighbors last night. None of them picked up. 2 went straight to voicemail. I chatted with my brother. Things are no better by him. I can't put this off any longer. I'm going upstairs to get some food. I'll take my phone with me. I just put some food in a bag. I crawled past the window, of course, but when I went up there, the rain started coming down even harder. I can hear some of my neighbors' doors opening and closing. Some shutters shook in the distance. The shutters of the windows in my living room are open. I guess 013 could see in if she wanted to, but no way in hell am I fixing that shit right now. Okay, I'm back downstairs. I'm going to try and contact the cops again. Okay, so far I'm getting no signal. Okay, no luck. Hold on, I'm getting something, but it's really faint. Going, check, Without Street. That's my street. Okay, careful, ready, all times. Okay, let me know how it goes. When, over. That's all the legible phrases I could get before I lost the signal. But now I know someone's coming down the street. Also, you guys have told me that cops don't actually say over at the end of each sentence group. I have 2 theories. One being that they just don't know that. And the other being that they are trying to make themselves seem like cops so that if someone unauthorized finds the channel, oops, then they'll think they're just listening to police. I don't know if these people are trustworthy or if I should be concerned about someone coming down my street, but so far they haven't entered any houses, so even if they are paranormal Nazi spy demons, I should be good. I don't honestly think 013 has any malicious motives. She doesn't seem to be the kind of test subject that lives in a 5-star room. So she may very well be fleeing for her own safety, but I do know that she is undeniably, irrefutably dangerous. Another thing, a lot of people seem to be picturing this girl as Elle from Stranger Things. However, when I said she was a teenager, I didn't mean 13-ish years old. I meant anywhere from 16 to 20. Something, and by short hair, I didn't mean she had a buzz cut. I just short hair and a choppy sort of fringe. Not like an emo fringe, just unevenly cut. So far, it doesn't seem like anything is going to happen today, but I still have some space to fill. So I'll just tell you how I've been lately or something. What the fuck? The radio just turned on. Oh shit, what the fuck? Guys, it talked. It said open the door. Guys, I don't know. This is getting weird as hell. It just turned on. I don't know if that was the cops or 013 or someone else, but I'm fucking scared. Were they talking to me specifically? My dogs are starting at it now. It just said it again. It said so, sounds so fucking calm. What the hell? Fuck. My dog just started barking. Okay, guys, this is like 5 minutes later now. I just got my dogs to stop barking, but they're still growling. That was definitely loud enough for people to hear. Maybe even through the rain and everything. I'm a bit more calm and collected now, but I'm holding a big-ass kitchen knife. Just in case. This crazy-ass psychic girl is gonna come in here and I'm going to fucking die, guys. Okay, just, it's 2 hours later now. She hasn't come in, so I think I may be okay. I almost broke the radio to stop her from using it, but I didn't. I might need it to stay posted on what the cops are doing. But now my power's out. I can only use my lantern and flashlight to light up the room. I have to use my phone with data, and I'm not going back upstairs. Not a fucking chance. My phone probably won't last very long on just my power banks now, guys. This might be it. I might be actually fucked this time. If I die tonight, well, my friends know my username. Some of them, at least. Guys, promise me that if you're one of the people who knows who I am, please tell my family that I love them and that I tried. I'll try to update you guys soon. Until then, assume I'm alive. Might be wishful thinking, but I don't know how this is going to end. Okay, until I can make a full update, I'll make small ones on here. Wish me luck, guys. I'll need it. And I think there's just one more.
Okay, that was kind of dumb. You could tell the author got called out on some things, and they were quickly trying to adjust the plot to account for it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, last part. Okay, guys. Hi again. I know I left off the last update at a bit of a cliffhanger, but I'm back now, and I want to say that so far I am okay. I have a lantern lit, and I have enough food to last until tomorrow afternoon. Maybe tomorrow night. The dogs are doing good, better than me in an event, and we're currently just laying low. I don't even want to risk going upstairs to get more food. Also, I don't really know what my thoughts are on the radio incident. If 013 wanted to get in, surely she could have by now, unless she thinks she's like one of those old-fashioned vampires who can't enter without permission, and I think my neighbors would disagree with that notion. Oh, speaking of the radio, I did manage to tune in on the people I've been listening to. I got a better signal than last time, but I still don't have much more information to go by. Anyway, here's what I heard. Hello, Officer McClellan. It's present. Over. McClellan. Hey, this is Sloan. Over. Sloan. Oh, are you ever a sound for sore ears? Over. Nice to hear from you too. Over. How's everything going over on your end? Over. Well, considerably better than things have been as of late. Do you think that what Jones and the boss said is true? Over. What, about 013? I mean, I want to, so I guess over. Everyone wants to believe, but do you actually believe it? Over. Well, I mean, if Kowalski thinks he has a lead, man, fuck Kowalski. He's smart, okay? I'll give him that. Over. Look, I don't agree with everything Kowalski says or does. He's had good ideas and bad ones. Sure, I guess he's got some obscure views on what should be done about 013, but it's not like he's the first one. Personally, I'm right in the middle. I mean, I'm not here out of choice, and we were messing with human life here. Maybe Kowalski's right, just a bit. Over. Sloan, it's not his opinion in 013. It's just, he always just sort of rubbed me the wrong way. Look, given the chance, I'd probably quit this shitty job and do something else. I don't really care what happens to 013, but Kowalski, come on. Does he need to be here? Does he? He could get by totally unemployed. He's got money, so why is he sticking around? Over. Sean, stop. Sorry, McClellan. You're making some dangerous accusations here. I can't help but get this feeling this has something to do with 002. Yes, Sloan, I'm telling you, Kowalski rigged the 002 experiment. McClellan, get it together. Sir, Kowalski is a perfectly fine man. I don't know why you have it out for him. I can't tell you that because we're friends, right? And besides, I didn't call to talk about Kowalski. I called to ask if you were going to investigate the radio disturbances on Withheld Street. Over. Well, yeah, but I don't see the point. 013 is causing disturbances all over, none of them particularly close to where she is. Over. Yeah, but maybe someone's been listening to us. I mean, usually 013 sends out larger disturbances than that. You never know, and that's the last thing we need. Over. Okay, I get it. Over and out. Bye. Over and out. Now I'm a bit concerned because they mentioned a radio disturbance on my street, which could very well have been caused by either me or a neighbor listening to them. Also, if there's one thing I learned from that conversation, it's that 013 isn't the only one in existence. Seeing as they mentioned in 002, calling 013 an anomaly like in the previous update or the one before that, whichever it was, makes me think she has something the others are missing. I've noticed that the weather has calmed down somewhat. I haven't heard anything but light rain coming from up above. Judging from that, as well as the conversation between Sloan and McClellan, I think this all might be called off soon. I think 013 is going to get found today. I really do. I'm really tired, even though it's early, because I barely slept last night. So I'm going to take a small nap. I'll wait to post this when I get up. Okay, so I just woke up about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours later, and the alert on my phone is now all weird. Like, it has lettered, randomly capitalized every now and then, like some cliche random letter. I'm just assuming it's a glitch or something, but still, it's a bit weird. It's a little later now, and I'm officially out of food except for 3 granola bars and a single sleeve of saltines. Oh, and 1 water bottle. This basement smells like dog waste and BO, and I want out. Guys, the alert changed again. Now it's totally empty except for the headline, Emergency Slurt, and a URL. I really have a bad feeling about it, seeing as it's probably a virus, but practically squatting in a basement with just dogs to talk to, a phone that can only fully charge once more, given the status of my power banks, and storing waste in Ziploc bags, so I decided to just say fuck it and click the link. It took me to a weird site. It's just a black screen, totally black except for the Google bar thingy and some white text. To me, it looks like a transcript. Here's what it says. The O13 experiment. Notes. Subject is very uncooperative. Subject refuses to eat. Subject seems to display unique traits. Possible anomaly. Day 1. Whitfield. Good evening, young lady. My name is Professor Whitfield. O13. Burn in hell. Whitfield. Now, let's not get off to a bad start. Let us try again. My name is Professor Whitfield. And yours? O13. Fuck you. Whitfield. Clicks tongue. Dear, they did tell me you weren't very cooperative. It's a shame, but I suppose I haven't brought you here to sip tea. I hear tell that you are a very special young woman. Not in the way that every child is special. No, you can do things with your mind, can't you? O13 shakes head. My mind can do things with me. I can't control it. Keep me here any longer and my mind may just slip over your throat. Whitfield turns to observer. Shock her. O13 cries out in agony as electricity courses through her. Stop! Whitfield. My name is Professor Whitfield, and you are? O13. Elizabeth Keller. Whitfield smiles. Perfect. Now, I would love to stay and chat, but I will allow you to get acquainted with your new quarters. O13 is locked in her cell. O13. Let me out. Struggles to keep her voice calm. Let me out. Let me go. Open the door. Open the door. Day 2. Whitfield. Why, hello, child. Elizabeth, was it? O13. Elizabeth, yes. Whitfield. So it was. Skims through the papers. Were you by any chance related to Mrs. Annie Keller? O13. No. Whitfield. No relation? O13. None. Whitfield. Any notable relations? O13. No. Whitfield. None? O13. I already told you. No, you bastard. Whitfield, I advise you not to take that kind of tone with me. O13 is shocked again. O13 grimaces. Why are you keeping me here? Whitfield, I have my reasons. Children like you aren't easy to come by. Now you've been known to cause thunderstorms upon getting angry, correct? O13, yes. Whitfield, and I have been told that you cannot control this if you get angry. Noting nothing can be done. Theoretically, of course. If kept in the right type of structure, it may be contained, but I digress. Anyway, tell me, Miss Keller, are you familiar with me? Do you know who I am? O13, yes, you're the head of the local police. Whitfield, that's what the people have been told. No, you see, we aren't police. This town has no true police. No, the people who run this town and enforce the law work for me. But they are no police. We are the Mew Foundation. That stands for Mentally Engineered Weapon. Have you figured out why you're here? O13. Why can't you just let me go? Am I going to die in here? Whitfield, relax. The 12 before you fated very well. I do not see why you should be any different. Everything after that was all corrupted. I think maybe they found out it was leaked and tried to erase it, but how and why did it leak in the first place? I can't help but to think it was O13 in some bizarre attempt to expose the Mew Foundation. Anyway, I'm going to go now. I'll keep you guys posted until the next update. Okay, see you. Bye. Oh, there's more updates. I don't want to read anymore. I got bored of this.
He seems really casual, like he's getting protagonist energy from all this.
Yeah, like...
His main character, cute.
Oh my god. This is gonna be my first 1 out of 5. I'm not even gonna finish, because I think there's like 3 more updates at least. And I don't...
I still think it's better than that first one.
Really?
Oh.
The first one was the apartment one.
That.
Yeah, no, I like the apartment one better.
Yeah.
We'll
Jose
do the last
made...
one and read like the last paragraph.
Go to the last one and read the last paragraph?
Yeah.
Okay, they can be friends though. Yeah. Maybe they'll be friends. Okay, let's see. I'm going to update 7.
Lore from these people, and they apparently don't notice, but they notice the girl hacking out with her mind.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to see if there's... Hold on. Okay, the last one is... This is the last one. Thank all of you for staying with me through this. I know it fell apart towards the end, but it is what it is. I don't know what comes next for us, but it won't be easy. The alert was finally taken off my phone. For a while, that is. While sitting in a Wendy's parking lot and waiting for Jim to get back, I received another alert. This one was different to say the least. Emergency alert. I am informally issuing an emergency alert for the following counties. Withheld. Citizens should be wary of all government officials. The town will be swept for survivors with clear memories of recent events. Nobody is safe here. I advise you all to leave as soon as you can. Do not talk to any police officers. If their uniforms are marked new, they are not police officers. Effective indefinitely. Do not go to Withheld County. It is not safe there. I wish you all good lives and bid you adieu. For as long as you remember this, assume I'm alive. Guys, I just got out to use the bathroom. When I got back, there was a full box of Thin Mints in the back seat. So something happened between update 4 and update 7.
Thin Mints for me.
It's the Thin Mints. They got exposed. Yeah, maybe what's her name? Elizabeth is chill with this dude. I didn't like how it was written. I didn't like how it was organized. It was just, I don't know. It was too much. I was expecting it to be, honestly, when I saw the whole like stay inside, don't look outside at all, I was expecting that kind of do you know the YouTube series Local 58, I think? Or
yeah.
So I was expecting that kind of vibe, because there's the whole thing, there's a whole like fucking mini short about how stay inside, keep your doors closed, don't look at anything, just don't look at the moon, don't look at the sky, and that's cool. As a concept, that's insanely cool. This was just disappointed. Like, I had high hopes and then it disappointed.
Floppery.
I'm not even gonna put a voting thing up because it sucks.
No, put a vote. Puppy Team 1 or 2 stars.
Put 1 or 2? Okay. Flash poll. I'm gonna...
I'll give it, because it had more potential than the other one.
Okay.
And it did more than the first one.
Okay. 1 out of 5 or 2 out of 5?
Bob.
I don't put Boblins. I'm gonna make it a 2-minute poll. Okay.
Vote for me.
Vote for this flop. Voted for 2 out of 5. I don't think I've heard of the Local 58 thing. Lulu, I'm so down to just sit and watch the Local 58 things with you one of these days.
I gave it 2 because I still think it did more than the apartment.
Honestly, I like the apartment one. I like the whole kind of like Aldrich horror apartment thing where you have to like, I think that's really cool.
It didn't feel like an Aldrich horror thing. It just felt like, ooh, quirky apartment.
Yeah, it's chill.
No, it wasn't trying to be chill. It was trying to be spooky.
I liked it. I like that one better than I like this one. This one disappointed me. That one, at least, I felt fun. I felt it was like a little fun. Like,
it wasn't trying to be fun. It was trying to be like, we're gonna die. My husband's
exactly.
dead.
But I thought it was fun, and that's why I liked it. I thought it was fun. If you guys, talking to you, Lorenzo and Mario, if you guys want to find scary stories for my next one and that you want me to read, I'd be down. And it doesn't have to be like the R no sleep thing. It could be like any creepypasta or an SCP.
We'll do some work.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep looking because I'm not just dumping this on you. But if you want a specific one, that because you want me to be scared, right?
Yeah.
So.
Watch scary videos now.
Watch scary videos now? No, I've been. This has been 2 hours. I'm gonna end it.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm waiting for this vote to end. Hold on, I'm waiting for this vote. Oh fuck, I clicked something accidentally. Why did that happen?
I'm thinking about the Fifth Harmony video, the work video.
The work video?
That's a good song video.
Yeah, the one where they're just like posing on what are those things are called? The dirt lifter machines.
I don't know. Damn, it got a 2 out of 5?
Yeah.
Period.
I didn't like it at all.
Well, you have no taste, so.
I have amazing taste. Fuck you.
You have questionable taste.
I have great taste. You guys have no taste. Lorenzo, you didn't like Fallen Kingdom. That's essentially saying you didn't like Viva La Vida.
I like Viva La Vida.
The Viva La Vida is such a good song!
It is. And Fallen Kingdom wasn't. It was a disgrace.
Fallen Kingdom wasn't a disgrace. Jose, stop, please. Okay, I'm gonna deafen and end. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hey. Okay, thanks for watching. That was fun. I dropped something. That was really fun. I'm very excited to do the next one. If you want me to read a specific story on stream, send it into the suggestions on Discord. I had a lot of fun. Bye, Lulu. Thanks for stopping in. I will talk to you guys sometime this week. I'm going to try to be streaming more often because it's spooky month. It's Bob's-tober, as I have lovingly elected this month to be called. It's Bob's-tober. And yeah, it's spooky month. Anyway, so I will talk to you guys either tomorrow or Tuesday or sometime. But other than that, bye. I had a great stream, and I think I'll be playing Minecraft next time. I don't know. I want to play Minecraft. Bye.